prices. Whatever your needs, trust Chic Leisure Limited for quality products. Chic Leisure Limited, making your life easier.
The power. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex collection of angle grinders.
Introducing the finest selection from premium deli and meats. Savor the bold flavors of beef salami, beef pepperoni, and chicken ham. Indulge in our diced beef bacon and perfectly sliced beef bacon. Explore the rich taste of smoked beef and tender roast beef. Treat yourself to our juicy jumbo chicken hot dogs and beef hot dogs. Top it all off with the delicate flavors of smoked turkey breast and our premium whole turkey, all halal certified for your trust. Delivered to you by Chill Foods, premium deli and meats, excellence in every bite.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening and welcome to Breaking Barriers here on IBN Channel 8. It's been quite a while that that statement came out of my mouth, and it's indeed a pleasure. In fact, could safely say that for the last 8 months, 99% of it I was on a hiatus, and I think I owe many of you an explanation as to what's going on, what is the latest, and I will do that within the first maybe 2 to 3 minutes because I don't, I don't want, I was looking at the wrong camera. That'll tell you I'm not accustomed because I'm accustomed. Right, yes. So what happened is that I don't want to leave people hanging. And I'll be very brief. What happened is, as many of you are aware, last year I had a major surgery in that one of my organs was removed and that there were some complications, major complications. And unfortunately, and this is without knocking anybody or knocking any institution for now, because only when I reach 100%, then I will start to knock who I need to knock. But more or less, it has been 8 to 9 months of recovery. I haven't gotten there as yet. What happened is that I haven't driven a car in the last 8 months. And when I went up to Miami about 2 weeks ago, it was the first time that I really jumped in a vehicle and decided to take a drive. And same thing today. I went in a vehicle and I drove as well. So therefore, things are beginning to come back. And Ramadan is coming up at the beginning of March, end of February. And I think at least I owe you a few weeks, wherein I would explain, certain things and try to deal with what is taking place. Because quite frankly, most of the time when I'm lying down and reading the news and watching the madness taking place, I wonder what type of people we are in Trinidad and Tobago. But that is the next story. I would like to say a special thank you. Before I go to that, I just want to say that the next few months will still be a recovery period. Although it may be an easier period, it is still a recovery period. But as most of you who have seen me during this period, you could tell that I have started to get back a little more energy and weight and etc. So, and then it feels good to have hair below my chin again. I would just like to thank my brother Nazim, who's not here tonight. Of course, he asked me for a night off for filling in. And of course, my able attorney, Mr. Richard Jagisa.
Good night, Brother Inshan. Pleasure to see you, as always.
Mr. Jagisa,
Glad to have you back.
I would like to thank you for filling in that gap and for doing a fantastic job, both you and Nazim. And if it were not for the both of you, Breaking Barriers would not have been on air and would not have been able to continue with our audience. So I would just like to say thank you so much for, you know, for you being a pillar that kept the program where it needed to be. And of course, one of the things that we will be doing tonight is that the program will be raising funds to purchase a pair of socks for Richard.
No problem, no problem. And you know, it's always, it's difficult to stand in your shoes or attempt to and fill any vacancy or space you leave, because when you watch your size and my size, it's half your size. No, but if it's a looks competition though, I get you there.
No, I agree, you catch me, because one is that at the end of the day, I cannot compare, you know, myself with somebody who does shave their eyebrow and so therefore I will in no way make that comparison.
I do not shave eyebrow.
You know, I naturally fall out on. Richard, just before I came on air, there was a video that I sent to staff. I want you to look at this video. Isn't it fact that we are in an election here?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's constitutionally due.
Yes.
So therefore, an election, maybe it will be called in June, July, August, I don't know when.
March, May.
You can never tell. Because basically, we are seeing the opposition, and I am seeing it as it is, at its weakest. We are seeing the opposition fractured. But I want you to watch this video. This is a constituent in Monroe's constituency.
Roger Monroe's?
Yes.
Yes.
Take a look at this video.
If you don't mind, I get a video of this. I want to speak to my LP. So I want to know what plans you have for northeastern settlement and environment.
Roger has been discussing.
No, let me just direct this conversation to here. And you are Mr. Stuart Young.
Roger brought us
Okay,
here to
all right.
discuss
I want to talk to him for myself. Now, as you know, listen to me, hear me. As you know, we have a lot of youths in the back here, delinquent. Those are asking questions. Why are they running off? We're asking questions. I am asking questions. I have a lot of delinquent youths. Why am I supposed to put my hand in red for the body? Say, Stuart Young, pull him away. I asking questions. If all they want my vote, all they have to show me why I supposed to vote for the PNM. Why I supposed to vote for the PNM? I want to know why. So I tried to ask Mr. Monroe some questions, and Mr. Stuart Young would have pulled him away because they're shying from the questions. And the questions I would have asked, what they have in store for the youths of Northeastern Settlement and environs, and the fact that they could shy away from me is because they're on folly, they're on shit.
You know, in an election year, you are supposed to be maximizing your efforts to reach out to constituents.
Correct.
In an election year, you are supposed to show compassion, which maybe does not exist, but you need to fake it at least. And here it is. You have the future Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the Member of Parliament for the area, Roger Monroe, walk in an area. A constituent is asking a very valid question. What is the plan for the youths of the area?
Yes.
What it is all a plan to do? She say, well, I could get a GC house.
Right.
She say, well, I'm looking for a work for myself.
Right.
She is asking a question based on the fact that one of the problems that they have in that area is the youth, employment for the youth. And all they could have said, Richard, was, you know, as you're well aware, we have many programs, I'm talking about lie. As you're well aware, the PNM has endless plans in place. And lie and say that, well, we plan to have an area where we could train people to do welding and electrical and use the community center and lie like what they are accustomed doing and at least fool the people. But you're seeing such arrogance and ignorance that Cho Chong decides to pull the member of parliament away, thereby disrespecting the constituent.
The voter.
Exactly. And making them feel like gober.
Yeah.
Because the sad reality of it is that in an election year, and I want to say this, you mightn't get a chance to talk tonight. I, in Sean Ishmael, I am worried. And why am I worried? Because in an election year, I am seeing the opposition with more fractured bones than somebody falling out of a plane at 2,000 feet with no parachute. What I am witnessing is an opposition. They don't know if there's yellow or they don't know if there's blue. And you have them beating at one another. Instead of coming together, instead of uniting, we have an opposition that is at each other's throat. You have Michaela on one side, she going all over and saying vote for change, not exchange. I remember Michaela's father was the one, we in Sean Ishmael write a check for 20,000. You know why? In Bamboo number 2, we were told that they didn't have no money when Carlos John was member of parliament here. And the village bought a traffic light for 121,000. You ever hear of a village paying for a traffic light, Richard?
No.
So when I hear the Pandey name, it comes with a little sweet sour taste in my mouth. Michaela may have skills, Michaela may be brilliant, but at the end of the day, don't come selling me this story that you have the Pandey name. The Pandey name does bring a sour taste in my mouth, and plenty of people in Bamboo here who had to pay for our own bloody traffic light. And you know what's the worst part about it? When they extend the highway and they remove the traffic light, we didn't even get it back. We pay for that. We lost money. The company that installs and does the repairs to traffic light, pick it up. And I show almost 100% that traffic light installed somewhere else and somebody pay for that. So somebody pay for our traffic light again. So Richard, my concern is that with a SE in place right now, we are still seeing murders.
It's on the increase. Not just seeing murders.
Was it ever on the decrease? Or was there an increase in the decrease of crime?
Yeah, increase, decrease, upkeep, downkeep in both understanding of what Rowley say and what Ula say.
I had to say this tonight. I find you real reserved as I on here tonight. Normally you don't be this reserved. Normally you just be the one attacking. Right? Normally you would when you take off, that is it. But tonight you're like a seat at a Kumar Sanu concert, you're reserved.
Everybody tuned in to watch you tonight, eh?
No, don't say that
That's
at
how
all.
you will stand up on the table and
Don't say what. But coming back to what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Richard, did you see that scenario with Amir, who was murdered, the young man from Kelly, who was murdered, and now they are looking for the person he was involved with and her 2 children?
Yes, I saw it. Now, what we have in this country is not only a failed SOE, but a failed Commissioner of Police, a failed Minister of National Security, and a failed Prime Minister.
Pause right there. I tell you again, jam it tonight. It's pressure. Did I give you a document, Richard? Did I give you a piece of paper, Richard, showing that a person who was appointed an acting Commissioner of Police, that a recommendation was made by the Police Complaints Authority for him to be charged?
Yes. Yes.
And that was sent to Erla.
And sent to the DPP to lay criminal charges. Yes.
And that is the same acting commissioner who set me up with my gun charge. And that is the same acting commissioner, no alleged, that cost me about my mother.
And the same acting commissioner that Justice Sipasad wrote several paragraphs in a judgment condemning his behavior, the officer in khaki clothes.
And that is the same officer that set up Anzar and arrest him and charge him. And Anzar won the case, and the attorney, I don't know if you all know him, it was Richard Jagisa, right? What happened was that Anzar won his case. And again, was it Frank C. Prasad who went after his throat where that is concerned?
Yes.
So double dose, because with my case, Frank C. Prasad went after the khaki wearing officer.
Yes.
So when it is you have people at the top, Mr. Jagisa, people who we are supposed to respect, we can offer no respect because the blasted commissioner that you have in place, and I will say this, and Summa, Madam Commissioner of Police, you have sided with criminals or alleged criminals when it comes to this whole scenario. Because here it is, you got a document from me before making this man an acting commissioner of police. And still with that document in hand, your blasted tail end up taking that document and still making this man an acting commissioner of police. And you expect me to have faith and trust in you?
As
Look, you better move out of here with your ladbesa self.
As if to disregard you, to disregard the complainant to the PCA, to disregard the chairman of the PCA himself, David West, and then to disregard Justice C. Prasad. That's what the Commissioner of Police had. What you just described, appointing the gentleman at that superior post, paid with public funds and so on, pay his higher salary, public funds and so on. Even though she has a complaint, she has directive from the PCA, she has directive from the PCA to the DPP, she has directive from the PCA to herself, she has a judgment from Justice C. Prasad, not once but twice.
Twice.
Not once but twice, directing that the transcript from that judgment be referred to the DPP and the Police Complaints Authority for decision and action. And in light of all of those factors, for her to ignore it and still appoint the gentleman is a spit in all of your faces. Including Justice C. Prasad, including Mr. David West, including yourself, and including the DPP himself.
How do you think the complainant in that matter is feeling?
Imagine that. And that's a regular citizen, you know, a woman.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
How do you think she is feeling? Because at the end of the day, they contacted me. They said this is going on 7 years now. I say, imagine that 7 years, a man supposed to be charged, but they're protecting him so that he could get a little kakada. Mm-hmm. And this is what is going on. So when it comes to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, I only know too well because I've been arrested 6 times and I've been set up 6 times. So I know only too well how they operate. And for me, to be honest, I can't wait for the day for that man to break a jail. And to see that man on face on TV, I tell you sometimes I just going to want to cough down the TV. Because really and truly, when you know what this man is capable of, when you know what this man did, when you know the background of this man, you can't just sit down quietly and digest this. You can't. You can't. So, Richard, when you see that the police service, I mean, let us look at another side of things. Hunters Search and Rescue. Mm-hmm. Them is the blasted police in Trinidad and Tobago.
You have to give them a stipend, you know. You have to give them some kind of salary.
I see them begging for 2 shocks for a car the other day. And you know, that is the next thing, Trinidadian people. If Hunters Search and Rescue go out and search for your family and was able to offer you some sort of, you know, comfort, at least give them something in return. And nobody has say cash, right? Buy a little phone for them and show a little gratitude.
Yeah.
But Trinidad and Tobago, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, the TTPS is inefficient and Hunters Search and Rescue is better than the TTPS. But let us look at the next story. Imagine a boat, a pirogue, leave South Africa. How far South Africa is from here?
Far.
Somebody check that for me now.
That's out of the world.
I want to get miles. I want to find out how much miles South Africa is from Trinidad. Yeah, how much miles? Give me 1 miles or kilometers or whatever. It don't matter. It could be metric. It don't have to be metric. I want to find out. But wait now. Only I had ChatGPT on it? Only I had DeepSeek? 8 people with phone day. Wait now. Look, in what's going on with you?
While they're doing that, Saif, pull up the video, the Rowley in Parliament video, as we on this topic about police inefficiency. 6,000.
6,247 miles. Let me just get this point and you go do it.
Right.
Imagine a pirogue, right, Richard? A pirogue is basically wood coated with fiberglass, and the fiberglass protects the exterior of the boat. This pirogue leave South Africa, Africa, Nigeria, wherever it come from, traverse the seas, gone through storm, shark bite it up and edge their teeth, right? Here happening, tanker ship nearly here happening, Maduro probably shoot it up, all kind of thing. This thing passed through hell, 6,000 miles. It landed in Trinidad. And the crooked, corrupt Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard we have,
The minute we get our hands on it.
the minute we get our hand on it,
It sink.
to tow it 2 miles, Richard,
sink.
to tow this thing 2 miles, these dunce, these bunch of illiterates we have in the Coast Guard, the boat fall apart. The boat fall apart with all the evidence, everything. But you know, in a modern country, in a normal country, wherever that boat land, you're pulling that boat right on shore there, and you're taking all the evidence you're taking. No, we in Trinidad, we just had to carry the evidence for our drive. We just had to carry it on the sea, for it to see, you know, the northern range and this range and that range. And where does go fishing, mate? You know, we probably carry the boat down Mero because the boat here on a tour. And that is to tell you how dotish we are and how stupid we just look in this country. I really don't know. We have a bunch of illiterates besides running this country. When you look at the Coast Guard, what would happen in a first world country if the Coast Guard do something like that? And heads will roll?
Immediate investigation, suspension without pay. Everybody was involved with that.
All who was involved in doing it, what was the procedure? Because you know what they probably do, Richard? Them probably take it and tie it and strap it. And as you know them, what they call them, you know them hangman noose? So as they start to pull it, it start to get tighter and tighter. So the middle of the boat is where they tie it.
Right.
So this thing start to crack in the middle. And them up in front, because remember, the Coast Guard boats and them does have a heavy amount of alcohol. So them feeling good, you know. Half of them Coast Guard officers, the one who are drunk, tipsy. So them happy, they know. And don't be surprised, it's only after they reach where they're going, they realize they don't have the boat again here.
They look back and they see the boat there.
We're talking about all they see was rope, and knowing them, they probably catch 2 redfish and a kingfish with the same rope. Boy, I don't know, nah. I really don't know. Yes, sir. You were saying.
I was going to jump off from the... When we talk about the incompetence of the TTPS, it have a man that agree with you, you know, and all of this kind of look alike. Two all they had the same hairstyle. Saif, the video with the gentleman talking in Parliament, played there?
District, some instances, police officers whose job it is to protect us and to secure us, in some districts at night, are so afraid of the criminals that they close the police station door, turn off the light, and be inside there hoping that the criminals don't come at them. That happens.
All they look like brothers, you know. Anyway.
Were you just telling me that?
All they had the same hairstyle, same jacket and everything.
Were you just telling me that? Boy, let me tell you something. It have something called accidental, intentional accident. You know? You understand? Something could happen, your light could fall off, just in which is the slack light we have on top. Right? That could fall on your head, breads. And you know you 90% skeleton.
95.
All right.
So the Prime Minister condemned the TTPS officers, commenting on their wonderful ability to sleep in the police station.
Who the hell put Erla there? Who put Erla there?
Don't watch my notes. You're watching my notes and you're copying. Yeah. Watching my notes.
Who responsible for putting Erla there?
So the Prime Minister condemning the police officers who sleeping. Now, he did sleep in Parliament too, eh? But anyway, and sleeping in the police station, close the doors, lock the doors, and take off the light, right? Commissioner of Police Defense Officers Commitment says their doors are always open to the public. You have that, guys? Bring it up quickly. I have to move quickly before Inshan catch a second win. And
No. If I get off, ups is pressure. No?
yeah.
Right, pull up that guys. The one with the
Police Commissioner Erla is strongly defending her officers' commitment and readiness to serve the public following claims by Prime Minister Keith Rowley that cops are hiding in stations from criminals. In a media release issued yesterday, the Commissioner reassured citizens that the doors of the police stations are always open. Rowley made the remarks during his opening address on the SOE. Police officers whose job it is to protect us and to secure us in some districts at night are afraid of criminals, that they close the police station door, turn off the lights, and they're inside there hoping the criminals don't come. Now, the truth of the, here we go. Now, PM, now this is a different article.
No, they had the one before just now. Pull up back the
PM,
one before.
no, we can go to this. The PM, yeah, there we go. So, PM declines comment on the Commissioner of Police's performance. So, PM doesn't want to comment on the lack of performance, the good performance, whatever the case is. I want to read an excerpt from that article very quickly. You can come back to me for a second. The Prime Minister has declined to comment on the failure, that's how the author of the article termed it, the failure of the Commissioner of Police to achieve any of the targets she set last year to reduce crime. The Commissioner was called to account on her performance and that of the police in reducing crime at a meeting at the Parliament's National Security Joint Select Committee on Wednesday. Asked to respond to comments she made at the meeting during a news conference at the office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley declined to do so. He said that requires a whole press conference by itself. Now, I want to quote what the article says in relation to, there we go. At times, during the Joint Select Committee meeting on Wednesday, the Commissioner seemed challenged and struggled to answer questions from members about the success or failure of these strategies and to give the public the confidence and the assurance that the police are getting on top of the crime situation. She often fumbled through documents before her and had to ask the chair for time in order to give her replies. The person who gave her an extension on her contract to be Commissioner of Police
has shown confidence in a woman.
Has shown confidence in her performance.
More confidence than lane 8 at the supermarket.
But hiding, don't want to comment. But hiding, don't want to comment on her performance, lack thereof, failure. The person who increased her salary in December, the person who approved the increase for her salary and given her back pay is not the man who does look like him, but it is Rowley.
Yeah, but the thing is that I have said it time and time again, that if you run a business and you hire a manager, and that said manager is the one that causing your business to bust, causing profits to go down the drain, at the end of the day, that man take your business from making 10 million a year to making 1 million a year. You so dotish, you so illiterate, you have so much gober in your head that you decide that we will give him 1 more year again. So in other words, from the $1 million now, you want to take it down to 100,000. And that is essentially what the PNM and the PNM cabinet has done. Because quite frankly, they showed confidence in someone who is literally an abject failure, an abysmal failure. Someone, when it comes to policing, proves that she's a guttural dunce. And that is the reality of it. Imagine, one of the persons that I have great respect for is James Filbert. When James Filbert, as a former commissioner, talk, we're going down there. Criminals start to tremble because just the very tone of the man's voice. But when you look at this one on air, she does stutter, well, she airs the stutter, right? This woman, I don't know. The thing is that if you have a commissioner that can't even speak properly, she can't even pronounce English words properly, she always tying up herself. And all you're telling me that we must have confidence in that. Nah, man, all you have serious problems. But I just want to segue a little bit, partner. I want to congratulate the PNM. After 10 years in office, they decided to put up this sign. Right? Welcome to Mobile Avanti. This is for all them people who on Facebook that's get robbing. They put up sign to guide them. Because on marketplace, You see people going by, but zoom in, guys. Zoom into that one. Right. You have Caledonia Road. You have Annie View. Where's Annie View? Zoom into that.
And a new.
Oh, God.
But who do the signage? Who would pay to do the signage?
I've heard about Avenue, but I've never heard about Annie View or Annie New. You know, and this encapsulates the dunce-headedness at the PNM. Because not even members of parliament who are there, and imagine for that sign, them cutting ribbon. Them cutting ribbon for that, you know, man. Mm-hmm. You feel it easy, Richard? Imagine that. But what I'm going to tell you, great is the PNM, boy. Great. Go ahead, my brother.
So we have the PNM is in charge, increasing the commissioner of police's salary and so on. Crime right now, you know the crime rate today in Shan?
About today?
27 reported murder.
Yeah, well, by tomorrow morning we will hit today because one is that on a Wednesday there's go by 3.
As of the 23rd, which is Monday, wounding and shooting, 42, gone up.
Yeah, but do you know the statistics with DJ Sheriff? DJ Sheriff on Facebook, he has the name, the address, how you're dead, where you're dead, what type of bullet, and he have everybody. His statistics for murders was nearly 650 last year. But Trinidad and Tobago official statistics was 620 something, correct? 628. Right. What happened to the 22 people? No. The 18 people, however, the 18 or 22 people that unaccounted for, according to DJ Sheriff. What happened to those names? And I told DJ Sheriff, I told him to put out that list so we could compare the names with the police. Because you see, when you get shoot, when bandits shoot you and you go to the hospital, if you're dead 3 days after, police don't count that in their statistics. Police does only count the statistics when you're dead immediately. So if you get chopped, the only way they're going to count you as dead is if you're dead right away. And that is the reality of it.
Exactly so. So crime in this country has gone up, even though we have an SOE in place, and we have a failed commissioner of police, and so on. As I said, murder rate, wounding and shooting, all criminal activity has gone up. And Rowley and Young and Hines, they give up. They give up. They throw their hands in the air. They give up. In this country, them fellas are playing games, you know. Them playing games in this country. And I just go and look at one day's papers, Friday's papers, Newsday. Friday's papers, Newsday. I'm going to do the headlines only. Murder toll, now 23. 2 gunned down in Enterprise. Next article, murdered mom seeks answers. I am looking for answers like everyone else. Like everyone else, you know, everybody going through this. It is hard to know that your child is working and then he gets shot and you do not know why. That's Melissa Williams. She goes on to say, I just want hope and justice. Speeding through, right? So 2 men gunned down in Enterprise. Murdered man's mom seeking answers. We go in again. Man killed by cops. Next article. Sharida Ali's funeral set for January 27th. Next article. One day's papers I talking about. This is one day's papers. I just reading the headlines. Right? 29 years after Clint Huggins' murder, killers now begin serving sentence. We go in again. I'll leave that one for last. Police complaints authority, disciplinary action for police not wearing body cams. Want to get into that?
Yeah, but hold on. Pause on that body cam thing. You see the company who bringing in the body cams say that they're paying $200,000 US every month or something. Storage fees.
Yeah.
For those cameras?
Because the TTPSN pay the bill.
Yeah, but hold on. Pause right there. I just deal with China. every single week. So I don't know where it is Papi and I'm storing that, but 200,000 is equivalent to, you know how much? That $1 million a month, Richard. In China, you could buy a whole warehouse for 200,000. In China, you could buy a whole road with warehouse, which include Chinese who could talk some English. So that, I think we need more people with that story. Because that story, Diamond Systems need kind of show my little invoice. Because remember, when you claim now that the TTPS hold back funds and they're paying you, and you have storage fee to pay, who will end up having to pay that storage fee?
Us, the taxpayer.
No, but who will end up having to pay it? And the TTPS, otherwise,
Yes.
Otherwise, they will sue the TTPS because it's all your fault that I can't bring in my thing.
And the TTPS funding comes from the regular man on the street.
Thank you. So the sad reality of it is that even with body camera, there's nothing in this stinking country. There's nothing in this stinking country that works. Richard, I have a container in customs since December the 18th. Do you know that that container is accruing rent in the thousands every day? And the rent and damage on that container is over $20-something thousand right now. Mm-hmm. And I am not the only one who facing that problem right now. Mm-hmm. There are literally thousands of importers going through that. And you realize, IMSBERT not saying anything. You're not having DOMA speaking out about it. Because you see, in Trinidad, and let me tell you something about this country. I see a man advertising the other day. If you want to get your certified copy, he could get it for you in a hurry, pay him $300, and he's advertising on Facebook. I see a girl on Facebook advertising, if you want your US visa, we could fill out with your form and we could try and push it through for you. All you had to do is pay a fee. I see for passport now, organize, bring your documents, and we will expedite it for you. So things you should be able to do on your own, all of a sudden now everybody doing it for you, for a fee. And you know what happening? In many of those cases, when they take a fee, what do you think happening with that fee? Mm-hmm. Going down the road, when they reach immigration, this one had to get a kakada, that one had to get a kakada, and by the time you get your passport, you swear to God they come to a garage because the amount of grease it pass through. Right? So the reality of it is that in this country, in this God-forsaken country, nothing works. And I continue to say, Kamala, Gary, Michaela, all you had to get all blasted act together. All you have to start a group. All you behaving like a set of damn little school children. While this country is falling apart, while crime, fathers and mothers, their throats being cut, all you behaving like a set of imps. And who gonna suffer? Who gonna suffer if the opposition lose the election? Kamala is still gonna get almost $100,000 every month. And she's gonna continue to play with her grandchildren. Gary's gonna go back to his home, run his security company. Well, I don't know what Michaela does do. But at the end of the day, if she's accustomed to doing nothing, she will continue to do nothing. And that is the sad reality. All opposition forces, I know God, COP, fighting to see who is the leader. Who is still a member of COP? Who is still a member of the COP? And who the hell is the NDA? Is it the NDA? DNA. That is Gavin Nicholas' party. That have 1.5 members, but everybody now jumping up because everybody seeing opportunity. And everybody not realizing that if election called tomorrow, PNM has access to the treasury. PNM have their act together. And I just want to give you an example. San Fernando West. San Fernando West. We have the retired principal of Naparima. Why the hell do we need to put in place a retired principal? Why it is we can't choose youth I mean, this guy that Gary chose, Kevin Saran, is a fantastic choice. And all you're going up against Taipan Square Bob Faris in San Fernando West. All you're going to lose, because some people going to go on this side, some people going to go on that side, and boom, PNM keeping that seat. PNM going to keep St. Joseph because UNC decided to put somebody that nobody knows in St. Joseph. And the sad reality of it is that we had 4 days of flood walking through sewage water. And Khadija Amin was nowhere wrong. She came on the 4th day. And it have a set of illiterate dunce in Bamboo who will support that. And those are the same ones that say you get flood, but them living on the second floor upstairs. Right? And those are the people who you'll find supporting that type of dotishness. When is it going to change? I have one foot down in the grave, the other foot just had to fall now. I want change. I want to see something happen. I want the PNM out before I close my eyes. But it is not going to happen the way things are going. We are choosing the poorest candidates under the opposition. The poorest and the weakest. And we still sticking to who does put on more makeup than the other. Trump law better come into Trinidad soon. Mr. Jagisa, I need to take a break.
Take a break?
We need to take a break. You're watching Breaking Barriers right here on IBN Channel 8. Justin, make sure we have a new advertiser load up, please. And I would just like to introduce them. You know, many of you within the community, you know, when you're looking for halal sausages, halal hot dogs, and those things, it's difficult to find. And at the end of the day, quality is the next thing. So, my dear friend, we have a good option for you. I have tried it out. Products fantastic, high quality, and you will get it at your favorite supermarkets. You'll get it at Bel Air stores, low-cost supermarket, soon come into Extra Foods, etc. And they will provide a list nationwide where it's going. All right, so, by the way, I would just like to say that IBN has reached a milestone this year. I remember when we were planning to open this TV station, I went to some of the biggest scholars in Trinidad. And they told me, don't waste your money with that, boy. Don't waste your time with that. That's just a waste of time. IBN is going to celebrate 20 years. 20 years. Over 4,000 debt announcements. Over 4,000 debt announcements. Not only that, over $23 million in aid. And let me tell you something, the majority of people we have assisted locally are not Muslims. Because that is how we operate. We help based on need. We don't help based on religious background. And that is something I remember when we had started our program, we had a doctor without hijab. And the fanatics in Trinidad and Tobago had a problem with that. How you could have a woman on there without hijab? Well, all they keep all the fanatic dotishness to self. We are one station. Women will always have a voice on IBN. And to celebrate this 20th anniversary for Ramadan, we have cut our rates to get all of you on board, for those of you who would like to get on board with advertising. And if you have not gotten involved, get involved now for me, please, because IBN has done something for you somewhere along that 20 years. Right? So, time to show a little appreciation, God willing. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue right here on Breaking Barriers. We'll be back.
Introducing the finest selection from Premium Deli and Meats. Savor the bold flavors of beef salami, beef pepperoni, and chicken ham. Indulge in our diced beef bacon and perfectly sliced beef bacon. Explore the rich taste of smoked beef and tender roast beef. Treat yourself to our juicy jumbo chicken hot dogs and beef hot dogs. Top it all off with the delicate flavors of smoked turkey breast and our premium whole turkey, all halal certified for your trust. Delivered to you by Chill Foods, Premium Deli and Meats, excellence in every bite.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Ronix collection of angle grinders.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
Ronix premium quality.
You realize when you come outside, you realize the car park bright.
Yeah.
You know, I had to go buy Modern Electrical and buy some 10,000 watt lights, right? To put outside and light it up. People who come in by my house now, they get an Akai, right? Bandit who come in by me had a way on welding goggles breads. You understand? Because that is where we reach. That is where we reach.
Yeah, crime bad.
There's alarm system. Let me ask you a question. How many videos of criminals have you seen via CCTV robbing people? You can't count the amount, eh?
No. Almost all the videos we see.
Good. How many cases have you seen with police using dogs and searching for people that missing? How many videos have you seen in that?
None.
This is where we reach. That's what I keep telling all you. The citizens of this country, we run in this country now. Hunters, search and rescue, doing the work of the police now. When you get robbed, you cannot go to a police station. I always say, here what's happening. God help the bandit who enter my premises, because as God is my witness, I going to use the backhoe.
Defend yourself and your family.
Dig a hole.
Appropriately and reasonably.
I'm going calling a Lescon and I'm buying fiber concrete. Fiber concrete. And I'm burying your ass. Because at the end of the day, I cannot depend on police for nothing. Because if you come and you threaten my family and I realize that my family's life is in danger, partner here happening, your liver, your gizzard, everything coming out. No, I telling you as it is, because how you could feel sorry. I see the other day, they catch a bandit, and one of them dropping some hard kick in the backside, and another one bawling, no, feel sorry for him. Feel sorry for him, what boy, turn off that camera, boy, you making joke. I will go to iShops up the road, buy a steel chip boots specifically for his backside. Anyway, you go ahead. I can't take a break.
Well, it could be who is the bandit, you know. That could play a part in it. Look, 1 million bail for soldier on drug trafficking charge, right? Prison officer charged for contraband in prison compound, right? In today's paper, today's Guardian, cop in court for alleged rape of stepdaughter. Look at that. Soldier,
That is
prison
why.
officer,
That is why
cop,
you see We need to have laws in place where you cut out the Chocoloco.
How?
Where you just cut it out, where you chop it out. You just chop out the man Chocoloco. Because at the end of the day, Richard, we need to put laws in place where you instill some fear. But you know what happening? That same officer going in the station, he partnering him, giving him food, giving him cigarette, let him come out in the night. A lie?
How we could have faith in our police service, in our protective services, and this is the kind of headlines we're seeing. In this week alone, look at this nonsense. Now, in today's papers as well, I think it's the Express, there's a headline, police blame 1% for crime. That's in today's
Wait, they blame the Syrian?
No. 1% police, look at the headline here. Police, I don't know if I said
I surprise Abu Dhabi come out against that because you know there's called the Syrian community the 1%.
Yeah, I had to read the article now.
You go ahead, my brother.
Police blame 1% for crime. Drop in murder, said DCP. About 1% of Trinidad and Tobago estimated 1.4 million citizens. That's what they're talking about. 1% of the citizens. 1% of the citizens. So they are saying 1% of the country causing all the crime. Right? That's what they're saying, eh? That's what they're saying.
And what percentage of the police service is crook?
Wait. Well, it can have somebody 1% is also... Somebody 1% is prison officers, because look, for contraband. Somebody 1% is soldiers, trafficking, drug trafficking. Somebody 1% is police, alleged rape of stepdaughter, and so on. But here's the best part. So 1%, because of all the court matters, you just went and cost and checking cost and percent and thing, I learned how to do maths a little bit. 1% of the population translates to 14,000 people. 14,000 people in this country in charge of crime, doing all the crime in the country, right? Of that now, roughly 4,000 people are currently locked up. So 10,000 people roaming free. 10,000 people in this country causing all the crime. That's what they're saying. The police service is roughly 6,500. So by this maths, them admitting that it have more bandit than police. It have more guns in the bandit hand than police. It have more bandit and criminal than it have police. And hear what they're saying about that. In this interview, the DCP says there are very few people who are bent on ensuring the TTPS does not somehow accomplish its goals. And as a result of that, he is calling on the rest of the country, the 99% of us, to unite against crime and assist the police in their job. Them want us to assist them in doing their job? How I go do that? How I don't have no bulletproof vest? I don't have a FUI. What you want me do? You want me to come in the station and pull the book and write the report with you? Yeah, and well, if I do it, it wouldn't have no spelling errors and all this bring for me. Eh? But anyway, you want me to come in the station and see the people and take the notes? You want me to go down in patrol and tell you where the bandit is and where the block is? The same one, all it is be bad. You want me to go down? What does all they want me to do? What does all they want me and Inshan go do? Come in the office tomorrow and pick you up. We go on patrol with all you. We go show all you where the criminals is. But don't be surprised we end up by all your house showing all you where the criminals is. Eh? It has some politicians as criminals too. Eh? Right? It has some, the articles say, police, soldier, and so on and so on. Eh? But what it is you really want us to do in that situation? We put burglar proof on the window. We put all kind of alarm. Inshan have modern lights or electrical.
But man, everything you're getting shock. You got dead when you enter the compound. Talking about here happening, the ground opening up, spikes from the sky falling and hitting you on your head. In the middle of summer, not only that, I recently carry a dog for braces bread. So when he bites you,
it's straight bite.
Because he had one teeth that was slightly bent. Mm-hmm. Right? So I carry the dog orthodontist, which we met from Venezuela. But you see, you're not taking one thing into consideration, my friend. Mm-hmm. How many criminals being exported from the US right now that are Trinidad citizens and have criminal records and will be on flights next week and the week after to land in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, he wouldn't say 1% then. He go up. He go say 1.5, 2%. But what I'm trying to get at, right? In this country, them want us to help them fight crime, right? Them now get salary increase. Their commissioner of police get salary increase, big back pay, right? Them get promotion. Them boys and them who know you very well, because they just go to court with you and so on. Them get promotion. And them want us to help them fight crime. How I go fight crime, Enshan? How I go fight crime? I can't even fight the coal. Listen. You want to know how we gonna do it? You want to know what is a method by which we could deter criminals? You want to know what the citizens could do to prevent crime? Saif, play the video.
What should you do, Rowley? What should you do? Empty the clip! And then, reload.
If a criminal come in your house, give we FULs, we go empty the clip on them. We go empty the clip, we go reload it, lock it back, and empty the clip on them. Injan had dogs with straight teeth. Give me a FUL. DCP, you want me help you fight crime? Give me a vest, give me a FUL, and pick me up in your office in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're going and fight crime.
Richard, let me ask you a question. Do you know the criminals in your area?
No.
Do you know the alleged criminals in your area, or people who you hear about that fella in drugs, that fella's deal with guns?
Yes.
Good. Every village has it.
Yes.
Every village. Like I could tell you where the drug block is in Bamboo.
Right.
I know who the drug dealers are in Bamboo.
Right.
I could tell you who they are. In fact, tonight I could call their name. Right? But I wouldn't do so because tonight could be a busy night with burials. Right? So, for me, when you have Enshan Ishmael, who is talk show personality, businessman / terrorist, because, my weapon of mass destruction was exposed in the station when they stripped me naked. And you have Richard Jagisa, brilliant attorney at law, right? When you have good-looking young man, right, who, when he turns sideways, he could run through rain without getting wet, right? The reality of it is that when you have people like us who live in a community and we do not function within the sanctity of the Trinidad Police Service, we can do nothing to deter those people within our community because they know that we do not have the legal capacity to deal with them.
Correct.
But you have police living in Bamboo who know where the drug block is, who know that the man down the road off on Abbey Street selling cocaine. And you know what? He ain't gonna do nothing because there's a set of blasted cowards they hire, see. You hear what them come after my family. Partner, when you take a job as a police officer, you have to know the risk. It's like a pilot. You going to apply for a pilot license. And when it's time you get the job, I ain't taking that now. Hey, that's too high. You see up there? I ain't going up there at all. That is real height for me. I'm afraid heights. It is the height of stupidity. So again, the reality of it is that we as a people have to come together. And we have to start to bring about change. But it confuses me that in the year 2025, after the PNM has destroyed this country for the last 9 years, that it have a set of illiterate kunumunu. It have a set of illiterate gadaha. It have a set of illiterate kukarfat who will decide that they're still going to vote PNM, boy. You know there are levels of dotishness, but always surpass that level of dotishness. That is like a new brand level of dotishness. How you have record crime, you're voting for that. Record problems in customs where we end up having to pay more for containers, so food prices going up, imported food prices going up. You're going to vote to support that. And then you're walking around with the PNM. You want to know what it is they're going to do for your community. Let me tell you something, or what they're doing for the youths in the area. Let me explain something to some of you outside here who have this gimme syndrome. You see my mother and father? Them sell a cow track several cows to buy the land that we have in Bamboo number 2. My brother Nazim, my brother Kazim, my sister Shirley built wood houses. We have an acre land in Bamboo here. And they built wood houses so that they could build up themselves until they could do better. Right? But not only that. My brother Nazim ended up putting an attachment on the side of my father's house so that he could send his children to school and do what he had to do to reach where he needed to reach. But you see, plenty PNM supporters. Sadly, all the priority is boat crews. Sadly, all the priority is FET. And by the way, it have plenty UNC supporters today, their priority is FET too. Because you see the rum song running, normal. But at the end of the day, you telling me that you waited 20 years for AGC house? 20 years and your condition will change? The problem is not the government. The problem is you. That is the problem. At the end of the day, many people has come by us for assistance. We have 6 children. Where the father? Father in jail. Okay? When you realize he was a criminal, well, he had a record when I married him. Okay? So you decided how long the abuse going on. No, well, since I married him, he used to lash me now and then, but I never really take it on. He used to beat the child landing, throw the child landing on the ground, and this is a real story I'm telling you about. Throw the child landing on the ground. So you decide to treat your body like a clothes clip. You squeeze the head and boom. And you decide to have more children again. So this man beating your children, abusing you, cussing you, providing basic needs. You have 1 child with him. You decide to have 2. You decide to have 3. Who is to blame? And then you're coming by me. Because I is Mary Donkey. I must be the outside father to mind everybody, children. Days for that done. Your stupidity needs to stop. And it boils down to the PNM as well, continuing. If you continue to support the PNM, you will continue with the gimme. At the end of the day, why it is you have areas where the PNM control, it was always described as a hotspot. Why? Look, Bamboo number 2. The only thing is we hear about Bamboo number 2 is this one with car parts, stolen car parts, or that stolen car parts. You just hear about it, but 99% of it is the lie. Not only that, they ball and say a car gets stripped in Bamboo number 2. There was no car in Bamboo number 2 that gets stripped. None. Over the riverbank is a different area. So you see, at the end of the day, all I want, brother man, is before I go down in that dirt, and I have to answer to my creator, I want to ensure that my children have some semblance of sanity in this country. I want my children to know that at least their father sacrificed. Because I always say, you have a bunch of fathers these days who are a bunch of blasted cowards who are good for nothing. If a bandit go to pull a gun in front of them, they go in and they're pushing the child in front for the child to get shot. And by the way, I was told that the officer who interfered with the child committed suicide. Allegedly. That is what I was told. But it's better he do that because when he go in jail, did I give him a dose?
No, you said something earlier. If we know who the criminals are, I know what I remembered. There is a criminal amongst us. There is a criminal who proudly portrays herself on social media. You know which law she breached? Inciting violence.
Of course, and she's a big supporter of the PNM.
Play the video, sir.
We're supposed to be taking it to them. We're supposed to jump over the fence, run up inside of the house, hold them, and deal with them seriously.
Great is the...
Right? So when you asked me earlier if we know who the criminals are, and this officer, this DCP, want us to go and help them locate the criminals and help them solve crime. Where are the officers who looking into this? How many are the 6,500 officers looking into this? This incident, this calling on a particular race to roll up in a next particular race house and deal with them and rob them and rape the daughters and kill them and so on and take everything that they have. What's going on with that? You want me to help? The first thing I go do to help is find out what's going on with this complaint, this investigation. Because that That's supposed to trigger investigation.
But how about the Rasta that went in the mosque the other day and saying that he come and he walking in the mosque with his shoe and then he went by the Diwali Nagar and he started to make derogatory remarks against the beliefs of the members of the Hindu community, right? And then he went down Port of Spain and started to attack the archdiocese. What happened to that? First off, a man breaking a mosque.
Right.
That is a charge alone.
Correct.
And then you're inciting. And not only that, you see he with a video with he and Fitzgerald Hagop. And the Mahasabha did a release. And, you know, I want to congratulate the Mahasabha. Because unlike Muslim organizations who just get diarrhea and are afraid to deal with issues, the Mahasabha was off the ball one time and they sent out a release. And the Mahasabha called for heads to roll. Nobody held. Richard, you remember when they blocked the highway by Bitam and throw couch and light couch afire and man vehicle was damaged? How many people? I remember the same one. Ola here, oh God, I forgot her name. The one who wished happy Diwali to the Muslim community. Hodge Griffith. Hodge Griffith said that they have CCTV footage and they know who responsible. Up to now, not one person held. Because you see, you could go down in Barakpur and Rohan Sinanan could tell you how much a road costing for repairs because the villagers in, the Indian villagers in Barakpur protested. You could go and do that. But PNM areas where you have hotspots, you can't do that. You see, and when we talk facts, people have a problem with that, but hard luck here what happen. Many of you are going to have digestion problems for this election, you know. Because let me tell you something. We're going to come out and some of the things we're going to say and expose, all ain't going to like it. But at the end of the day, I have never been one to look for friends.
Now, when you're talking criminal and crime and this government, you have to talk all kind of crime, eh? You have to talk criminals in the street. You have to talk, you talk different kind of crime, eh?
Criminal in parliament.
Boy, let me tell you something, eh? We live in a day and age where everybody in the world watching and laughing at Trinidad. Everybody in the world watching and asking what is going on in Trinidad. Trump watching, the Privy Council watching, and want to know what's going on. Let me take it from this angle. Today, this evening, there was judgment by the Privy Council in the Jaiwanti Ramdas and Minister of Finance case. You could show them the first page of the judgment. Judgment was delivered on the 28th of January 2025. There we go. Now, I gotta move fast before you try and catch yourself and take back the mic.
I now take my tablet, don't worry.
This is, can you come back to me? I'll go through it very quickly. This is the case that stems from the Auditor General's report of the missing $2.6 billion. Billion with a B, eh? Billion as in bat, billion as in ball head. Billion, I was talking about...
As in Boney.
$2.6 billion missing. And for who don't remember, let me remind you all from the case that after the money...
You know a whole piece of chicken bone come through your teeth there when you say baby just now?
A whole chicken bone, but I didn't eat chicken today.
That you tell you, that digest us yet.
The judgment says, for who doesn't remember, for who can't remember, this happened just in September to November last year. After the Auditor General, which is an independent constitutional body, the Auditor General said there's missing $2.599 billion. The Minister of Finance issued her a pre-action protocol letter directing her to accept revised accounts. Her team looked at the revised accounts and found that it contained no substantial information or evidence to help them form an opinion that the revenue was fully accounted for. The Auditor General team told the Minister of Finance, I can't just correct and amend the accounts because the dollars and cents not matching, it's not adding up. The Privy Council went on to say that the respondent's case at its highest is that the minister has, I'm going to paraphrase it, has gone much further than merely making a recommendation to cabinet. Imbert went on to not only cause an investigation to take place, but to appoint the members of the investigative body. Went on to pay the members on the committee a stipend or a salary, and gave them their terms of reference, and forced the investigative committee to report to him. Let me recap that. The Minister of Finance told the Auditor General, accept these amended numbers. She said, no, I cannot. It's not adding up. He appointed an investigative committee. He told the investigative committee what to do. He made them report to himself, and he paid them. And the Privy Council said, notwithstanding his role as minister, with the responsibility for the missing money, they call it an understatement, and the fact that the investigation is capable of affording blame as between his department and that of the Auditor General, his conduct is not targeted for investigation, in truth, but his conduct was targeted, and it is arguable, and it appears to be a one-sided investigation seeking to deflect blame and attention away from himself. Let's hear directly from one of the law lords. Play the video, please. Play the video.
Sorry, an entirely even-handed terms of reference might have identified the minister's conduct, because she says, rightly or wrongly, that she felt she was being bullied and coerced into signing the accounts in circumstances where that understatement hadn't properly been reconciled. And what's more, the 780,000 that was first identified as part of the understatement was never reconciled.
And the minister is interested to find out.
But why doesn't the term of reference say, just as it identifies the Auditor General, why doesn't it say, please investigate the minister's behaviour?
Well, that's a good point, milady, but it does.
That would have been an even-handed term.
Well, it does say to investigate the Auditor General's response to the attempts to bring this to her attention.
Well, that's looking at her conduct. Well, I'm interested to know to what extent the minister's conduct is going to be investigated, because if this was genuinely an even-handed investigation that wasn't designed to deflect the blame away from the minister and onto the Auditor General, it might have been
it would be more even-handed to say, investigate the actions of the minister and investigate the actions of the Auditor General, since they seem to be, in some ways, the main antagonists, if that's the right word, or participants in these series of events. But curiously, the minister is not singled out, but the Auditor General is. It might be said.
The minister has made up his mind, as it were, about the conduct of the Auditor General.
Well, in the grounds for bias on page 60 of the electronic portal, at paragraph 105, the allegation is that the minister is charged with ministerial responsibility for his ministry. The investigation concerns errors and maladministration on his watch. And he has defended the conduct of himself and his officials, and disingenuously sought to shift the blame to the Auditor General. That would be an improper purpose for an investigation, wouldn't it? If you were targeting an Auditor General in order to shift the blame away from your own conduct. That's part of the bias ground. It's under the heading grounds for bias.
Milady, I'm having great difficulty responding.
Video there. Look at that. Can you imagine that? The Privy Council is saying this is purely bias. This is absolutely a situation of himself deflecting blame away from himself. Using tax-paying dollars to do that. The investigative committee wasn't paid from Imbert's pockets, you know. The investigative committee was paid with tax-paying dollars. This case was dismissed, you know. This Privy Council case appeal was dismissed, paragraph 58. Accordingly, none of the arguments raised by the appellants cross the high threshold required for leave. None. How much money did we, the taxpayers, spend to go to the Privy Council for this nonsense of a case? How much money did we, the taxpayers, spend to go to court to defend and deflect away from Imbert and onto the Auditor General? Look at this. Imbert had made up his mind. Imbert made up his mind and hired an investigative committee to draw a conclusion that he had already drawn. Paid the investigative committee from out of our pockets. And whatever result they found, he issued a pre-action protocol letter. He went to court, High Court here. He went to Court of Appeal here. He went to Privy Council. All of those fees, this is the part where you had to jump up and say, go file a FOIA to find out how much fees.
File a FOIA to find out what exactly the fees are.
Right, good.
That is a serious thing.
Right. How much money did we waste in this nonsense of an appeal? And that is what I call criminal activity. So when we're talking Commissioner Police failure, we have to talk Imbert failure too. That is criminal. 2.6 billion remains missing. And the Auditor General has rightly written a report. Has she ever appeared before the Standing Finance Committee to lay the report? No, I don't think so. That is still pending. That needs to be done. So how much money did we waste, right? And we as citizens really have to start being serious about this nonsense, this dotishness about the government is doing, dipping into the public purse, not only to hire certain lawyers and to progress certain matters, but to do this kind of nonsense. Because whatever happened to the Paria, the money, the point I'm making is the money spent on that came from the public purse.
Correct.
If you had taken 10% of that and given it to the families.
Talk done.
10% of that and given it to the families. And you come here and do the same nonsense. The money missing, Imbert. How much money you spend to, according to Lady Justice Simler, seek to deflect the blame from yourself. And onto the Auditor General. Well, thank God we have an Auditor General with a strong back. Thank God we have an Auditor General who's ready to fight you. And if she ready to fight you, and Inchan ready to fight you, I ready to fight you too. Let me go.
You know, I would love to see her as the Minister of Finance in Trinidad and Tobago. I think she's eminently qualified. And at the end of the day, it would be a breath of fresh air. My dear friends, you're watching Breaking Barriers on IBN Channel 8. No, you're not imagining things. I am actually on air. And God willing, I will be with you on air until Ramadan, once God spares, my life and continues to improve health accordingly. All right, so we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue right here on Breaking Barriers. We'll be back. We'll open up the phone lines when we come back.
Introducing the finest selection from Premium Deli and Meats. Savor the bold flavors of beef salami, beef pepperoni, and chicken ham. Indulge in our diced beef bacon and perfectly sliced beef bacon. Explore the rich taste of smoked beef and tender roast beef. Treat yourself to our juicy jumbo chicken hot dogs and beef hot dogs. Top it all off with the delicate flavors of smoked turkey breast and our premium whole turkey, all halal certified for your trust. Delivered to you by Chill Foods, Premium Deli and Meats, excellence in every bite.
the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex collection of angle grinders.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
To all the PNM supporters, just advising you that your Obia is stronger than my fufu. Right? just advising you. Right? You know, before we take this, in fact, we'll squeeze the video in between. Let's go to our lines. Hello? Hello?
Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to you gentlemen, and Brother Inshan, welcome back.
Wa alaikum assalam and thank you so much.
Nice to see you again. So I'm not going to talk about Kamala crude comments about Joe Biden, distasteful comments. I'm not going to talk about that. As a matter of fact, you ever hear Joe Biden talk about how much rum the ladies drink? I find she was way out of line and out of place. I get tuned off with anti-cams for that. That 1,127 people that is earmarked to be shipped back to Trinidad, deported to Trinidad, the authorities are saying that it will be a logistical nightmare. They don't know how to handle this. You tell me these people don't have any families in Trinidad? But here it is. Forget all of that. I ain't called to talk about that. I want to tell all of something. I am a caller. I know airtime is expensive, and I would like to say long, but please bear with me. Recently, associate and I come and he say, please, could you accompany me to the police station? I have a report to collect. I said, no problem. We went to the station. Inshan and Richard, as we pull in the station, there was this guy, totally drunk. Police talking to him in the compound at the station, totally drunk. And he is telling the police, oh God, take the crab now, man, and let me go now, man, I'll keep him back. And he's totally drunk in the station. So the police see me now and feeling a little embarrassed and bad. They say, nah, you can't drive. Your wife had to drive. Why? When the wife come out now, she had to hold the car. She more drunk than he. Do you know, we left the station. After we do what we had to do, we left the station. And about 200 meters away from the station, I tell the guy, I said, park up, let me see what is happening. You know that man and your wife drive out the station? They send a loaded gun out on the road. Oh, by the way, Inshan, you know me, I'm calling from Carney. All the best. Read between you.
All the best. Take care. Take care. I want to just play this video before we go back to our lines, please. This is with a robbery in Aranjuez. Take a look at this. Right, Moody, what street is it? This is on the Aranjuez Main Road and
Henry Street.
Henry Street. You know, when you look at doubles, people getting up 3 o'clock in the morning and frying the barra and leaving the china to soak overnight and taking that heat and then having to come and do this.
And standing.
And then you're standing there by the road and hear what happening there. You have so much expenses. And what you say, somebody who there next in a mobile wheelchair, that could be her husband who have all kind of medical ailments and all the money probably going towards him, you don't know. And then you have Super Kobo, right? Super Kobo who come up to she and watch, boom. Pull out the chain from she neck and gone. Come back to us, guys. All over Trinidad. And we are in a state of emergency, Richard.
Yeah.
We're in a state of emergency.
Broad daylight he moved in. He don't care.
Well, Super Kobo and them don't care, no? They don't care. Right, what you have to add again before we go back to the
Before we open the lines, Saif, there's an article. High Court dismisses defamation claim against attorney. Right, I want to read that very briefly.
What I'm with Shane Mahabir Singh?
Let me read it now, man.
Oh, sorry.
Let me just read the article.
Bill Boys?
A High Court judge has struck out a defamation claim filed by Shane Mahabir Singh, owner of Billa Boys Construction Services Limited.
Wait now, that same thing didn't happen when he take me to court too?
And his case was struck out and dismissed and he's owing cost.
And who is my attorney?
He's a good-looking fella, in Shogunas. Against an attorney.
I gotta call Tilok Singh, boy.
On January 29th, the judge upheld a legal principle that shields statements made in legal proceedings from defamation. Mahabir Singh claimed an attorney by the name of Jones, who filed an affidavit of service for a previous lawsuit in which Mahabir Singh and Builder Boys were sued, and he sued for information contained in that affidavit. Mahabir Singh's claims were unsubstantiated, and Sipasad said, and read it very quickly, lawyers have an obligation to ensure that their clients or their witnesses reasonably and rational instructions are placed before the court. If in so doing, they are subjected to a defamatory claim, such a circumstance can undermine the rule of law and adversely affect the administration of justice. Simply put, documents put before the court or made by lawyers during court proceedings are covered by absolute privilege and cannot be relied on a defamation claim. And he notes, judge notes, serious thought should always be given before one decides to approach the court in person, as lawyers play a critical role and their value and advice should not be disregarded. Just as one would not typically operate upon oneself if there was a medical issue, so too citizens should exercise caution and avoid as best as possible approaching the courts without the benefit of legal guidance. And of course, Mr. Mahabir Singh had to pay legal costs in the sum of $10,650. Now, this case is in today's papers. This case is in today's papers. There are other individuals faced with a flurry of claims brought by this gentleman who is self-represented, and he needs to heed the judge's warnings.
Is he an attorney?
No.
And he representing himself in everything?
As far as I know, in all the cases he files. As much as these judges are telling him, to seek legal advice. This one told him to seek legal advice. And let me just say that in your similar matter, where you won, you also won cost.
And he pay up to now?
And he has not paid.
No, we will go after him.
So
Shane Mahabir Singh, we come in. Build the boys.
Oh, but there's a call on the line. Let's take the call.
Good.
Caller, good night. You're live on Breaking Barriers. Speak to us through the phone and mute the television, please.
Thank you so much. A pleasant good night. Inshan.
Yes.
Happy to see you on television. When I call in, I always extend and give my regards. Your panel, the young, brilliant lawyer you have there, he did a wonderful job.
And continues to.
With your brother. They were very good. And I am so glad to see you. I say I have to stay up, as I saw you tonight on television. I have to stay up and tell you a pleasant good night. I'm so happy to see you, and you are always in my family's prayers.
Thank you.
We are constantly praying for health and strength, that you will be back on your feet full force. And you see that robbery that just took place there? Hines is responsible for all that. Because like the other day, he got a B12 injection.
No, but caller,
jump up in Parliament, man.
Hold on,
and
caller.
he start to say some parent call him and tell him it should happen.
Yes, but caller, we cannot put blame on someone, especially with criminal activity, unless we have proof. So at the end of the day, what happens is that by saying that, it opens us up to legal action. So therefore, at the end of the day,
apologize.
I will have to retract that statement. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Heinz could either mean the Minister of National Security or ketchup or mustard.
Okay. Because they're not getting serious. They are not getting serious. And things getting out of hand and like nobody seeing it or nobody just simply don't care which one it is.
They don't
you
care.
Understand?
They don't care because the PNM don't lock up the criminals because the criminals are their supporters.
Exactly.
There's no difference. The rapists,
okay, Inshan, have a pleasant
supporters
night.
of PNM. The bandits, supporters of PNM. The foul thief, supporters of PNM. The car thief, supporters of PNM. No difference. Let's go back to our lines. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good night.
Good night.
Inshan.
Yes.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
Richard, good night, buddy. I ain't like all that bench for partner, but anyhow, we get to the point. Yeah, that's right. All they're talking about concerning the funds and things with the Prime Minister and the ministers and blowing away, right? I'm going to tell you something, right? First of all, that is not their money. That is taxpayers' money. So they don't really care how much money they spend or how they spend any money. And this whole situation with Imbert, if this was a real country, he would have been in jail already, right? For the kind of things that are going on. You understand what I'm telling you? And to the Prime Minister, he criticizing the police service now for the work that the police service doing, right? Let me tell you something. He didn't appoint one. He didn't handpick one, but he handpicked two. Minister of National Security and a Commissioner of Police. And he handpicked his successor, who is the advisor, from one old failure to a young failure now. So let me tell you something. We in for a real rocky road. If you see this man come out in the election this year, I tell you now that we in for real trouble this year. But watch me. I wanna make one little point before I go to it. So the first call and say about Kamala remarks was distasteful to Biden and things. Let me ask you a question. Already like the agendas that Biden and company was doing onto the world, or they like the kind of thing they were pushing.
Correct.
Pushing men into women's sports. Had them filthy little books for children to read. All they remember all these books all they show on the program? Apparently people have short-term memory, they just forget. Let me tell you something, I read that release not once, but twice, maybe 3 times. And every single thing the woman said, no matter how it come out, it was the truth. And let me tell you something, it has things, and that people in Trinidad and Tobago, they doesn't want to hear the truth, buddy. That is the problem in this country. People like to live in the night, and they don't like to hear the truth. That is the problem here.
Absolutely correct. Thank you very much, Kola. We'll take...
All right, man. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. We are out of time. Guys, do we have any calls on hold? Let me know one time so that we could... Right, good. Okay, pause calls right here. Richard?
And we have to ask ourselves, what is the connection between Rowley administration and Maduro? And how is that going to affect us moving forward?
No, it's going to be sanctions.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be sanctions because our relationship is clear. You have Stuart Youngs who made 13 trips.
Correct.
Right? And it wasn't to go and play hopscotch with Maduro.
It wasn't to go and play golf.
Right. So you remember the US has their agenda that they need to fulfill. And at the end of the day, sanctions is the road that is going down. And then remember, Trinidad and Tobago is on, we don't export much.
Right.
But
so we import a lot.
But we import a lot. There's a definite trade. When you look at, there's no trade balance there at all. So therefore, when you look at us being a big importer, partner sanctions will affect us like that.
Agreed. And that is a serious issue and concern. So whoever wants to talk about the last U.S. Prime Minister and so on, listen. Serious. There is clearly a connection because nobody visited our country so many times without cause.
Correct.
Or without being invited back. And how is that going to affect us as a nation moving forward? How is it going to affect our citizens? How is it going to affect our economy? Serious questions we have to look at and ask ourselves, where are we going and where are and for the children of our country, what is our country going to look like in 5, 10, 15 years? It starts now.
There are people who have never left the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. And many of them are supportive of this government. So therefore, at the end of the day, they don't care. They don't care what is a tariff. They don't care what is sanctions. They do not care. Once them getting their little kakada, once they have little CPAP walk, them happy. Once they can buy a little bread and cheese, them happy. There's no improvement in their lives, none whatsoever. When when I visited Miami recently, and I did a video on it, everywhere you drive it is improvement. In this country, you can't go half a mile without seeing the place stink, it dirty, grass overgrown, nobody maintaining nothing. So, boy, things have to change. Things really have to change.
Yeah. And the same people who might be okay with the CPEP work now and going in the grocery and buying the bread and cheese, when there are sanctions and tariffs on what you could import in our country, those people will not be able to go to the grocery and buy anything, you know.
No.
The cost of everything will increase and skyrocket. It will become scarce, if at all it's coming in the country. And we have to understand that that is where we're heading. And that is serious issues. And we want to sit down and explain that to your viewers one of these days. But that is very, 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 very serious.
Yeah, but the problem is that people will have no issue with that, you know, because in Trinidad and Tobago, and it happens to all of us, within the opposition and within government, we keep doing the same thing over and over. We keep voting in and putting in people who, you know, and say what you want about the PNM. When you look at the quality of some of the people that the PNM is choosing, the PNM actually choose the ILP former chairman. When did you ever hear that the PNM would have done that? Never in history. When did you ever hear that the PNM will choose outside of the African Bank? Never. The PNM choose a Chinese. So the PNM now is evolving. And on the other side, I mean, oh gosh, boy, things have to change. Things have to change. Richard, we are totally out of time. Your last words, my friend.
Or the Ramadan Expo flyer. At the end of the day, I will be at the Ramadan Expo in Baraka. And last year, February, at the Dong Tank. This year, February, bring my Dong Tank.
Bring it, but we'll bring it. When was that? This one is going to be the biggest we have ever had. Over 100 tents have already been booked up. And my manager contacted me and told me if to continue. I told her Monday is the final day for bookings, because at the end of the day, we cannot take more than our car park could hold, because we need to leave car park space as well. So again, to those of you who have not booked, get involved, and to those of you who come into shop, walk with plenty money.
Yes. So good night, everyone. This has been this week's episode of Breaking Barriers. Join us again next week. Join us again, Insha Nishmael and myself, next week on Breaking Barriers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagisa, and to all our viewers. It was a pleasure communicating with you again, and of course to the literal hundreds of messages I've been getting during the program. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate the love and compassion shown. And of course, God willing, I'll be with you next week here again as we host another program of Breaking Barriers, coming to you live from the studios of Bamboo Settlement number 2. Take care, folks. Assalamu alaikum and good evening.